Hey friend, my name is Kaylah Walker. I'm a content creator rooted in faith and called to adventure. And this year I moved abroad to live out my wildest dreams. I started this YouTube channel so that I could connect with like-minded women and document my journey. So I am so grateful to you for being here. As I'm sure you can tell by the title of this video, I have just done something pretty monumental. I quit my job. This is me joining the Great Resignation for the second time during the pandemic. But this latest time, which I'm going to talk about in this video, feels a little bit more significant. Why? Because I'm abroad. I quit my job while living outside of my home country. And no, I did not have a job lined up to start when I quit. So I want to talk about how I knew it was time to quit my job in this video. And before I get started, I also want to shout out Stephanie Perry, who recently interviewed me in a video called "How Do You Know If You're Ready to Move Abroad?" So you might recognize me from that video, Stephanie's, talking about how I knew that it was time for me to move abroad. And in that video, I talked about the job that I have since quit. So if you want a little blast from the past from before I quit, you can check out Stephanie's video, which I'm linking in the description below. So as I mentioned, I have been a part of the Great Resignation not once, but twice during the pandemic. The first job that I quit was actually a pretty great job that was towards the top of my career ladder. I quit that in March of 2021, so solidly in the pandemic. I just was realizing that I was super burnt out and that I just needed a break. I wanted to focus on some entrepreneurial goals that I had, some creative goals that I had, and creative platforms that I was building. And so I think that I quit that job for many of the same reasons that a lot of the other folks in the Great Resignation quit their job as well. I took a 6-month sabbatical after working that job, which was amazing. I made a lot of art. I grew an art platform. I did some entrepreneurial businesses and made some money for myself and really had some time to focus in on my goals. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I really treasure that 6 months. Oh, hey Jada. Then at the end of those 6 months, I decided to take another job offer that at the time I felt I just could not pass up. Y'all, this job was amazing. Fully remote, work from anywhere in the world, 4-day work weeks, really amazing benefits, and a small team of really nice people doing work that was pretty easy, pretty in my wheelhouse. So I accepted that job, and 60 days after accepting that job, I packed my dog Jada and a couple of suitcases and a backpack up, and I got on a plane and I moved to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And so I worked that job for 4 months while starting my life abroad. And during those 4 months, it became pretty clear to me that I had made a mistake in taking another job, y'all, that I just really didn't give my sabbatical enough breathing room. I didn't give myself enough time to understand who I am apart from an employer. And so when I told my friends and family members that I had quit this quote unquote dream remote job while living abroad, everybody's first question is, Kaylah, why? And so I figured I would record this video giving my top 5 reasons why I quit my job, why I joined the Great Resignation again, but this time abroad. I do this because I value transparency, and also because some of you watching this video might be wrestling with whether or not you want to quit your job. And so I want to give you this list. And if some of these things on this list resonate with you, I want you to consider that maybe it is okay for you to take that big, bold leap into the unknown. Okay, let's go through my list. Here is why I quit my amazing fully remote job. So reason number one, my time was not my own. So this job was very, very flexible. Again, fully remote. So there were people from all different time zones working. And I did have a flexible schedule, but there were a certain amount of hours each day that I was expected to be online and to be working. For me, I found that even though that felt very flexible going into things, it was a little rigid for me in the end. Why? Because some days I don't want to work a full work day. Some days I have about an hour or 2 hours of mental clarity in me, and that's it. I need to go outside. I need to relax at the pool. I need to go to the beach. I need to talk to my family, talk to my friends, do some exploring, reset. Some days I've got 8, 10, 12 hours of work in me. I can't always predict which day I'm going to have which level of energy. And so being in a job where understandably an employer wants a certain amount of hours for you on a certain day or a certain amount of days, that was difficult for me. And really realizing that even though I have a flexible schedule, that my time as a whole is not my own. That was a struggle for me. And that was one of the big reasons why I knew I needed to leave the working world, because doing projects for myself, doing entrepreneurial things, I can wake up one day and just decide, hey, I'm going to take this day off. I don't have to check in with anybody. I don't have to shift anything on my schedule to work around other people. And those are just decisions that I can make for myself. So that was one of the reasons why I knew I needed to leave the working world again. The second reason why I knew it was time for me to quit my job is that my passions weren't aligned with the work. Now, the work of my company was really, really important, really beautiful work that a lot of people could get behind. But my personal passions in life, which is to connect with women, encourage women, and to help people live out their boldest dreams, that's what I feel really called to do right now in this part of my life. That really wasn't in alignment with the company's mission. And so try as I might to get behind the company's mission, which again was a great mission, I just didn't feel the alignment there. And it's always difficult for me, who I am a mission-driven person, to wake up every morning and to push hard and to get behind things that aren't in alignment with the mission for my life at the moment. And so that was another huge thing for me that I knew I needed to get out of. The third reason why I knew I needed to leave my job is that my personal strength lies in big picture. It lies in vision setting and not necessarily in the details. Well, the job that I was given was more in administrative details, more in support work, which in supporting a life abroad and supporting a life of adventure, that could be a really good deal, right? But for me, my strength is big picture thinking, goal setting, vision setting. I love walking into a room and hearing a problem and helping to come up with a solution, helping to map out a solution, and then encouraging people or teams as they work towards those solutions. Now, when it comes to the fine-tuned logistics and setting up the systems that support those solutions, that's just not where my strengths and my passions and my interests lie. Unfortunately, that was the job description. And again, I took the job thinking, well, these logistical things, these kind of, for the lack of better words, lower level, just in terms of how much time I would need to spend to get it done, these things would be great for my new life abroad, because it's going to save my mental energy for exploring and settling into a new country. But what I didn't bank on was kind of going to sleep at the end of a long day of work feeling unfulfilled, because I hadn't had the opportunity to vision set or goal set or do some of the higher level stuff that really fills me up inside. So that was a big reason why I knew I had to leave. The fourth reason why I knew I needed to leave the job is because my personal projects deserve so much more shine than I was able to give them while I was working for someone else. We've all been here. I think a lot of us have been here. We've had a really, really good idea. We may have even mapped out exactly how we would execute that good idea. The only thing that we don't have is the time to see it through, or maybe the money to see it through. But it always feels like there's just not enough time. And working for other people, even though the schedule was flexible and it was a fully remote opportunity, there are only so many hours in the day, right? So by the time you go through all of the regular things that you need to do in life, and by the time you pour the hours into completing projects for other people, supporting other people's dreams and visions, you may not have the time that you really need to have or want to have to make real progress against your goals. Again, maybe this isn't everyone. I hear often from people who work full-time hours and then go home, feed their kids and work out and then work on their passion projects until 4 a.m. in the morning and start over the next day. But that's just not me. I have a limited amount of energy. I am kind of familiar with the amount of energy that I have. And at the end of a working day, working for someone else, I often felt like I didn't have enough juice left in the tank, for lack of better words, to push my personal projects forward the way that I felt like they deserved to be pushed forward. Because I feel like I have a lot of really great ideas that are just kind of laying dormant while I work for other people. So when that came up for me and I realized that, I knew it was time to quit my job. And the fifth reason why I knew it was time for me to leave my job, and maybe one of the most important reasons, is because I felt my armor coming back on. And I'll explain what I mean by that. If you look at a lot of videos here on YouTube filmed by other expats, Black expats, particularly Black women expats, then you'll be familiar with a lot of us talking about how it kind of feels like when you're outside of the United States, you don't have to wear the same armor that you have to wear inside of the United States to protect yourself. In other words, you can be yourself a little bit more freely. You don't have to be as double-minded. I found that in the States, when I went to work, there was a work Kaylah who dressed a certain way, talked a certain way, wore her hair a certain way, and conformed to a certain set of expectations, unfortunately, because that was the way that I felt that I needed to be in order to move up the ladder or to be accepted by the mainstream American society. When you step outside of the United States, oftentimes, especially into beautifully vibrant cultures like we have here in Mexico, you feel more like you can be yourself as a person, a Black woman. And these past few months living here in Mexico, I've really experienced what it's like to be able to take off that armor and be vulnerable and be myself without being afraid of the consequences that would be waiting for me if I were doing that in the United States. Unfortunately, at the company that I worked for, most of those people were based in various areas of the United States. So I found myself, even though this is a flexible, fully remote job, I found myself on Zoom calls, kind of zipping up the armor and preparing for this US mentality, US-centric, sometimes a little xenophobic commentary, things that I just don't agree with in terms of my worldview anymore. And I found myself zipping up that armor so that it could kind of like bounce off of me, so that it didn't bother me so much, so that I could get through the day, so that I could log off of the Zoom call, close my laptop, and get back to paradise here in Mexico. And after a little while, I just realized this is not how I want to live. I lived that way in the United States, waiting for 5 o'clock, waiting for Friday, waiting for the weekend, waiting for my PTO days. I lived in a perpetual state of waiting for when I could really be me. I came to Mexico. I moved outside of the United States to experience life differently from that. And so when I realized that I was kind of bringing a little bit of that experience with me by continuing to work for an employer, I knew that it was time for me to leave my job. So those are the reasons, you all, why I made a big, bold choice and I quit my job while living abroad. I have to say that after quitting my job, I feel absolutely amazing. I feel very, very excited about what the future holds and what I can accomplish if I put more of my attention, more of my time, more of my passion and my heart into the projects that really light me up. One of them being this YouTube channel and getting a little bit more deeply involved in the long-term travel communities and expat communities for Black women that I have been participating in a little bit so far. Just getting a little deeper with that and making myself more available to support folks who maybe want to live a similar lifestyle or who have questions about my lifestyle, and really helping women see that it is possible to do this. And so I really want to bring my best self and not my after 5 o'clock self or my weekend self or my stressed out self to that work. I want to bring my best self for that work. So I am really, really excited. I'm happy with the choice that I made. Of course, it comes with some levels of uncertainty. I don't have a replacement job lined up. I am outside of my home country. I'm still kind of figuring out what it means to live here in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. But I trust God that everything's going to be okay. And I am going to document this journey for nothing else than to show you all that you can make big, bold decisions in support of yourself, and everything will be okay. So now I want to hear from you. Do any of these reasons resonate with you? Have you recently quit your job because you were feeling one of these reasons? Or are you working a job that you kind of know it's time to quit and you're feeling one or all of these ways? If so, I'd love to feel the camaraderie in the comments. Leave me a comment, let me know. I also want to let you know that I am starting something new that I'm really, really excited about. I am going to be offering coaching calls for Black women who want to make big, bold decisions and want a little encouragement, want a little accountability, and want somebody to talk to about making that decision. I am here to support you. Whether that decision is quitting a job that you know isn't right for you or moving outside of your home country, as you can see and as you'll see on this channel as I share my life, these things can be done. I'm doing it. And if I can do it, then you can too. So look in the description of this video for 2 links. One is a link to enter to win a free coaching call with me. Every month, I'm going to do a free 60-minute coaching call with somebody in this community. So click the link in the description to enter to be next month's free coaching call. And then there is another link in the description if you just want to not take your chances with winning and you just want to book a time to chat. That link is in the description below. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I want to let you know that whatever it is that you're dreaming of, it's possible. You can do this, okay? I love you. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.